Hello again. In the last video we created this little marble fighter simulation, and the issue we had with this is that the marbles just die immediately. We want them to have some hit points. So let's implement that. We need a health value, so we'll do a float health, make it 100 for now, and we'll need a damage method, public void take damage, and this will take in damage. What this is going to do is set health is equal to health minus damage. We'll see later why this is a problem, or maybe we won't see it, but the problem with this is that you could have negative health, which once you implement health bars becomes a bit messy. So I'm just going to fix this right here, and we're going to use the clamp function. So we're going to feed it what we want and what the minimum and maximum values are. And the maximum value would be a health max. So let's add that as well. Health max equals 100. While we're implementing a health max, let's just quickly implement a regen as well. Regeneration value. Health regen, maybe make it 1 per second. And we'll implement that here in the update function. So we'll do health is equal to, use the clamp function again, health plus health regen times time.delta time. We're multiplying the 1 by the time step. So if your frame rate is 60 times per second, and this will be 1 divided by 60 that you're getting every frame. Back to the damage, so that's going to reduce our health. The reason why I'm implementing a function for this instead of just doing this directly from the weapon script is we might want to add other effects to our take damage. And I think it's a bit better to manage that in here. So here I will now do if health is less than or equal to 0, then we're going to destroy the whole game object. So here in our weapon script, instead of doing this, we are going to say marble take damage. Now we need to figure out how much damage. So let's just add a damage value here. We call it 10. This we can obviously change for different weapons. So if we go back to our 3 fighters, let's give each weapon a different damage. Let's say long sword deals more damage, and dual swords deal maybe a bit less damage. Okay, let's see. Okay, yellow has hit red a couple of times, so marble has less health, but it is regenerating, so that is working as expected. Much less. Next up, we'll need to add some health bars so that we can see in the game without having to look in the inspector how much the health it is. But he's about to be eliminated, so let's just take this to its conclusion. I wonder how the other guys are doing. Longsword is doing very well. Dual swords is doing even better. Let's just remove regen for now. So I'm just going to do that here. Multi-select, change this to 0. Make the battle a bit faster. So we still... No, he's now managing to stand his ground. Now dual swords looks like he's going to win. Or die first, I mean. Let's see. Red 5. Oh, okay, yellow died first. And then we should see red dying next. Yeah, so the longsword's range is quite a big advantage. There we go. So one way that I normally like to implement this, or lots of people implement this in their videos, is by changing the value of the color, making it darker when the marble is more damaged. But first we need to know what the color actually is. So we'll do that a bit later. For now, let's add a health bar, I think. So let's go into our marble. Let's make let's do it this way. First of all, just make this guy centered over here. We've got this square. So this will be the health bar, or this will be the background rather. Maybe make it something like that. black with a bit of alpha. Let's call that health bar background. And then within that, we'll add another square, and this will be health bar foreground. We'll need a reference to it, so let's go here to this, and we'll use a transform for this. So health bar transform, and let's assign it. Health bar transform is this one. We don't need to do anything with the background. And then what we'll do is health bar transform, we're going to set the scale, and the scale will be a new vector 3. So the x, we are going to scale from 0 to 1 based on the health. So if the health is 0%, then it should be 0. So that will be health over health max for x, and the other two will just be 1. We also need to set the color. Maybe we'll use the same color as the player, but we'll do that a bit later. So for now, maybe we'll just make it nice bright green. But I've only done that to my main marble. So let's just duplicate these guys again. This will be our longsword marble. Now we should see that health bar start. Yeah, and we've got a problem. We've got a couple of problems actually. For one, the health bar is in the wrong place. We normally want it to be at the top. Couple of ways to fix that. What we'll just do for now is we'll just fix its position. So we'll say the position is equal to transform position plus some offsets. We know that the offset is going to be about 1, and the rotation, we'll set that to quaternion.identity, which just means the default rotation, 0, 0, 0. Let's see if that fixes it. I'm not completely sure if it will. Yes, what I'm doing wrong is I'm moving the health bar but not its parent. So let's actually do it a different way. Let's take that out. We'll remove the background for now. And right at the start, we're going to take this out of being a parent, or out of being a child of the marble. So we'll set parent to null. That means that when the game starts, we're just going to rip it out of here. Let's see if that works. Right, the scale is wrong. Vertical scale should be a bit smaller. Yeah, so we are seeing the health bars diminish a bit. So let's go back to exploring the other method, the fading of the color. So for that I said we need the player script, which will be helpful in having different teams. So let's create a script for that. Let's call it player. So the player will tell marbles that they're friends or enemies, and it will tell them what color they are. So here we'll need a color, and the marble needs to know what its player is. So we'll add a reference to that. So now in the weapon script, we checked if it is itself, the marble that is being hit. But next we need to check if the player is the same as the player. Then we're going to return. So that's saying the marble that the weapon is colliding with, if its player is different to the weapon marble's player, then don't do anything. So now we'll make a couple of, or before we do that, let's create our players. So we'll have red, and we'll have blue. The blue marble, let's assign the player, that's the blue player, and red marble, assign the player, that's the red player. So now let's make many copies of this guy. Now they shouldn't be damaging each other. Yeah, we can see that they are not hitting each other. Let's check. This guy was hit a couple of times. This guy, yeah, they're not dealing damage. So we've implemented teams just like that. Let's go back to fading of the color. So we'll go to the marble script, and here we will adjust the color. So we need a reference to the sprite renderer. Sprite renderer. We'll do sprite renderer dot color, and here we'll use the lerp function, color dot lerp. This just means go between the two colors, and we'll need the player's color and the color black, and the amount will be how much health is lost. So let's rather say we're going to go from black to the player color, health over health max, meaning if we're at 0%, then it's black. If we're at 100%, then it's the player's color, which is fully bright. But we probably don't want to go all the way back there, so let's maybe make at 25% of the minimum, meaning even if you are at 0% health, you will still be at a quarter of the way from color black to your player color. And then we just need to scale the rest of this accordingly, so that this will always be between 0 and 1. I forgot to assign the reference as usual. That one and that one. So now the color should start changing. Yeah, there we go. So who's gonna win? What if we give this guy a whole bunch of spin acceleration? You can see he's kind of swiveling between the two. That's because of the weight of the sword pulling it back. So you can also get a lot of different effects just by changing the mass of the sword, the mass of the marble, changing the drag and acceleration values. That's where most of the development time goes into. And yeah, I've got a problem. His health bar stayed. So let's just fix that. If we destroy the marble, then also destroy the health bar transform.gameObject. The reason that wasn't destroyed is what we did earlier. We took the health bar out of the transform. Let's just make a bunch of these guys and let them duke it out. I'm not sure what I'll do in the next video in this series, so please let me know in the comments. Yeah, thanks for watching.